Jack.
Gap.
The book club from hell.
Hello everyone, this is Jack with the Book Club from Hell, just doing a little introduction for this episode. This one is on the Diaries of Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the two perpetrators of the Columbine High School massacre. There's a bit of a throwback to older episodes, particularly the one Levi and I did forever ago on Elliot Rodgers' My Twisted World. I had a similarly unclean, unpleasant feeling reading these ones. These are predictably unpleasant, much shorter than My Twisted World, so there is that. And the but the fact that they're handwritten, and I did try to struggle through reading the actual scanned handwritten journal entries of both of these boys to deepen the reader's experience. I could persevere with Klebold's journals. Harris's handwriting was just too dog shit for me to be able to deal with before tapping out and just reading the nice, clean, typed transcripts of these. Want to say I have a novel coming out in October, Audience Capture. I've talked about this in a few episode introductions already, but it's a story about a band, Atlas and the Shruggers. They are so incredibly popular that they are effectively world government. And the story is really about how the band members, having gone from a life of incredible prominence, incredible positive prominence, importantly, go from that to really only having themselves and each other. It sounds a lot like a satire, by the silly names of things like the band Atlas and the Shruggers. It's not intended to be a satirical novel. It begins in a somewhat satirical register, but very, very quickly I think it becomes evident that it is not satire. Anyway, pre-orders for that are available at bonfirebooks.org. The link will be in the show notes. If you're interested, I would really, really appreciate it if you picked up a copy. For people who are thinking of writing reviews, the book it'll be completely finished shortly. I'd really appreciate it if you reach out and you want an advance reader copy. Just email at jack.bcfh@gmail.com. That will also be in the show notes. And let me know. And I'll get you that as soon as possible. What else? Patreon. We do have a Patreon account for this show. We're covering costs for this show now, which is really, really good. Big thank you to anyone who is contributing money there. It does make it easier to do this show. We've also got a Ko-fi account, a link again in the show notes. If you want to make a one-off payment to show your appreciation, you also don't want to sign up for another subscription service, which I understand. That is available to you. Anything else to shill? Just want to say thanks again to Cap for being the co-host. Lovely to have a co-host again. Just makes my life so much easier. And it also changes the nature of the show a bit. When I'm getting guests on, just relying on guests, it's a bit harder to convince people to do things like, oh, do you want to read the diaries of the Columbine shooters? Most people will say no. But when you have a co-host and they've got a bit of buy-in, you can do more books or texts, I guess. I mean, these aren't meaningfully books. You can do more texts that are more unpleasant, which is, I guess, in the moment when I'm having to read these things, not necessarily so nice, but it does make the show more interesting. It gives us more of our identity back. Anyway, on to the show. Thanks very much for listening. Talking about Columbine.
Columbine? I love that flower.
The last time I read a book like this, or a book, a text like this was ages ago in the early days of this show, the Elliot Rodger manifesto, My Twisted World.
Oh, My Twisted World. I have been trying to... Did you know that My Twisted World? This is a brief aside. Dare we get into the topic at hand without multiple asides?
Yeah.
Elliot Rodgers' manifesto was briefly published in a very limited run, and I am trying to get my little.
Was that the Passage Press or Antelope Hill edition?
That's right. No. Neither. I don't believe that either of them.
The leather-bound patrician edition of My Twisted World.
Do it. It goes great with the Takis last alpha male. Not to be confused with Takis, the Mexican treat, but so I've been trying to get my hands on one of those. They're very limited. I think there's like less than 50 were printed. I
can't imagine it would have been a huge market for it. Well, actually, having said that, I mean,
yeah,
Adam Lanza has fans. Has people drawing portraits of him. I didn't look into it specifically, but I'm certain Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold have people who are fans of them too.
Adam Lanza was Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold fan. He was literally active on the Columbine forums.
Actually, it's just Jean Baudrillard all the way down.
Yeah.
Simulacra and simulation.
To be like, also, what is it? Cho, the guy who did the VTech shooting, he called them martyrs for the cause. And like to a certain extent, all school mass casualty events and several ones that don't take place in actual school buildings kind of have echoes of Columbine, both because they are in the sort of memeplex, but also because the people who did them specifically tended to
specifically reference
fans.
This one.
Yeah, specifically tend to be fans of Harris and Klebold. So
would that make them the sort of the Abraham or the Jacob?
I think
these sort of school shooters.
I think I would call them. So they weren't really the Abraham. The Abraham was probably oh God, what was his name? Who climbed that clock tower?
I don't know his name, but yes, I did hear about that one because, of course,
Charles Whitman, right?
Oh yeah.
Their University of Texas tower shooting. He was the Abraham. Harris and Klebold were more of the Moses. They really solidified it. They led the disaffected out of bondage and led them to the promised land of soft targets with lots of innocents available.
Yeah, and codified the rules of it too. So they got like the Levitical laws of school shootings in that subsequent school shootings, like you said, they're repeating the memeplex of Columbine.
Well, and in a lot of ways the no pun intended, the execution of it was more full featured in Columbine than in many others, because they got their costumes. They had like they had like a fucking to-do list. They had
quite detailed plans as well. The plans didn't really work because I think
they did not go to plan.
Yeah, it didn't go to plan at all. It was meant to be. You can correct me because it sounds like you're the resident expert on this. I think originally American art form that has been exported somewhat to the rest of the world, but it's still mostly an American phenomenon. But it was intended to be a bombing predominantly, and it didn't really work.
100%. Yeah, 100%. This was supposed to be a bombing, not a shooting, and that is something that fortunately sort of fell out of the zeitgeist of mass casualty events in the U.S. Because if their plan had worked, right, their plan that is inferred from sort of the timeline of their movements.
Just the basic to let off a bunch of bombs in the school cafeteria and collapse the roof.
Yeah, they wanted to basically blow it all up, and I mean, like that's theoretically why they were even in the library. And there are quotes from them at the time where they were telling people, it doesn't matter if I shoot you or not, because they expected to be blown up themselves in the library when everything collapsed. So it's pretty clear that they also like really, for guys who like would build pipe bombs recreationally, they really like hadn't tested this, because a 2-stage fuel air bomb, like a propane tank with a pipe bomb strapped to it, which is what they had, right, would not have done that. Like, there's no way that they could have collapsed like reinforced like concrete structure with that. It just wouldn't work. Like, you kill somebody, definitely. Like, you could hurt a lot of people with something like that, but there's no way that it would have blown up the building as they had hoped. So,
yeah. And I mean, basically everyone listening is going to know what Columbine was, but
I guess there are a bunch of there are going to be a bunch of Zoomers listening who just know it was a school shooting, and they probably know about trench coats.
Yeah. Okay. April 20, 1999 at Columbine High School, Colorado.
What else is April 20?
What is this an American holiday I really should know about? After I asked you to record on July 4th.
It is. That was really funny. It's like, oh yeah, July 4th. Yeah, not doing anything that day. So yeah, actually, you know what? That wouldn't have worked out anyway, because where I live, there are so many fireworks that it would have sounded like a fucking war zone. It outside.
Would have been actually quite.
It would have been thematic. Yeah. It would have been very thematic. So it was April 20th was is a certain Austrian painter's birthday.
Right.
In addition to being the High Times day of the year. So unrelated.
I should have known that. As we were saying before recording, I'm currently on holiday in the Sudetenland.
Yeah. You should know. You should have gone on April 20th.
I should be paying my respects to the elders of the owners of this land, past, present, and future.
That's right. One day, yeah, future. You're we're making predictions now. So it took place on April 20th. Sorry, go on. In Littleton, Colorado.
Yep, and there were 13 students dead, 1 teacher killed, 23 injured, when Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, who were
I think you mean not 13 students. I think you mean 15.
Was it 15?
Well, Harris and Klebold were also students.
Yes. Were they current? That was what I was about to ask. Were they current students or had just graduated? Okay, they were current students.
They would have graduated in like 2 weeks.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Senior prank really went too far.
Got out of hand.
Really got out of hand. Yeah.
Most people draw the line at water balloons.
That's right. So,
yeah. And it is like we said earlier, it's kind of wrote the rule book for these sort of mass casualty events. Like, a disaffected young man just decides to vent his anger and loneliness by shooting up a soft target. Like we also said, they were planning on making this mostly a bombing, which didn't really catch on. Maybe it's just easier to get a gun in the United States.
It is definitely way easier to get a gun than it is to get. I mean, only
get a bomb.
Yeah. It's much harder to build a bomb than it is to acquire a firearm. I mean, 3 of the weapons that they had were legal for them to possess. So, like, it was not even particularly like, and it's only like really a sort of accident that the weapons they had, I believe that Klebold had a double-barreled shotgun, Not an efficient weapon.
Was this the one they sawed off like way too
They
much?
sawed both, so they both had
because
a shotgun.
and I suspect it was because both of them loved Doom 2.
100%. It's because
I bet it's because of the super shotgun in Doom 2. And they were like, if I saw it off more, it'll do even more damage.
Yeah, they really did not. Okay, there was a time in my life where I would have rigorously resisted this was inspired by video games thing, but we can just get into it now, right?
Yeah,
because the selection of the arsenal, and a couple behaviors that were exhibited by Harris and Klebold, not to mention, of course, the ample references to video games in
the diaries,
their journals. So it was absolutely, I'm not going to say that it was causally linked to video games. I think that it was a convenient expression of this violent impulse, but it was definitely inspired in the sense that the weapons that they chose were chosen for their association with these games.
Was it particularly Doom 2 and Duke Nukem 3D?
That's right.
Just like, because I'm pretty sure, it was Eric Harris. He had a website where he was hosting Doom WODs that he'd made, and like whatever the file type for Duke Nukem 3D is.
Right. Map. .map. But so, yeah, they had a double barrel sawed-off shotgun. He had a sawed-off pump shotgun. Harris had a sawed-off pump shotgun. Harris had a pistol caliber carbine, which is a high point. For any gun person in the U.S. will recognize High Point as the cheapest, shittiest gun manufacturer. Although their pistol caliber carbines are actually pretty fun, which is, and for people who are not gun people, a carbine indicates that it is a rifle length, a short rifle, not a legal short rifle. And pistol caliber indicates that it doesn't fire a rifle size bullet. It was a 9mm carbine. So something rifle length that fires 9mm. And then they had a semi-automatic version of a Tech 9. That's what Dylan Klebold had.
Yeah, and that's the one, the really famous still of the security camera footage. Yeah,
where Dylan Klebold is sort of walking next to the split level stairs off of the cafeteria, with it in his hand. It's
in what is a bone chilling image.
Oh yeah, no, super iconic. And that's the one with the sort of front magazine. Like the magazine doesn't go through the hand grip like many regular pistols do. It goes farther up on the device, but and that's what they actually refer to it several times in
excitedly
in the journals.
Both of them in their own separate diary entries was like, I reckon Dylan can get a Tech 9.
Yeah, well, no, they say
was there a movie or something where there was a Tech 9 that was famous that got them so excited about it? Because I know a Tech 9 from Columbine.
Right. Tech 9 was sort of present in a lot of things. They refer to it as a AB-10 machine pistol, which it was not. It was not a machine pistol. It was not select fire. It could not fire fully automatic. Right.
Because I didn't know what that was, and I just searched it, and the picture was and I saw the picture and thought, oh, okay, Tech 9.
Yeah, I mean, it was in a bunch of stuff specific. So I think they probably saw Falling Down, right? Which it was definitely in Falling Down. It was also in Big Trouble in Little China. I don't think they were inspired by Big Trouble in Little China, but Kurt Russell, that was Kurt Russell's gun in Big Trouble in Little China. But yeah, but in Falling Down, he definitely used it. It was kind of just a known weapon. I wonder. I wonder if there's. We could check. I don't think it's definitely not in the Doom games.
Because I didn't remember it from either Doom 1 or 2 or from Duke Nukem 3D. Yeah. And so I was wondering if it was elsewhere, or if it's just one of those guns like a Spaz 12, which is just like the ultimate video game and movie gun because it looks very distinctive.
Spaz 12 is so good. Although my association with Spaz 12 is, even though it's used in a ton of shit, my association is Jurassic Park. But that's my yeah. I don't think that it was in anything. I think maybe it was in some people had said that they were inspired by Postal, but having read their journals, it seems that I don't recall them did not mention it even once. They did not mention it even once, and they talked about all sorts of games.
Yeah, whereas Doom definitely came up. Natural Born Killers, the movie, came up
super inspired by Natural Born.
Yeah, super. Yeah. Like they continuously refer to going NBK.
Yep. That was their shorthand for the shooting or for the
and like writing
massacre.
It in yearbooks and stuff.
Yeah. When NBK happens, it's like for years they'd sort of idealized this thing. Kind of weird to say, kind of weird to do that because, like which one of them thought that they were Woody Harrelson, right?
Yeah. It's which
one of them
they're
thought
a funny
they were Woody
duo.
Harrelson, and which one of them thought they were Juliette Lewis?
Dylan Klebold was the more sensitive, artistic type, but it actually doesn't necessarily fit either of the main characters.
Who's your Natural Born Killers character? Me, I'm Rodney Dangerfield.
It's been so long since I've seen that, and now I don't.
The abusive father of the female lead. There we go. I'll save you the time.
They're a funny duo for multiple reasons, not just that they were. Oh, now I just can't not imagine both of them as they're planning this out, imagining themselves as various characters.
I'm retarded. The Tech 9 was in Natural Born Killers.
Oh, was it? Okay. There we go.
Yeah. There we go. That was I literally looked it up on IMDb and he's holding one in like the second photo. So,
right. Yeah.
There we go.
And it is. I mean, for listeners who are, I don't know, just less familiar with Columbine, who think it's kind of weird that we're discussing all the pop culture references of the attack here. I think they're really important because this just became a meme in that a bunch of people have used this as a template for school shootings subsequently. But also it's so both Klebold and Harris were so self-consciously referring to pop culture around them at the time when they were planning the attack. And apparently if testimonies of people who survived or anything to go by as well, they were saying stuff based on like movies and games while they were shooting people at school.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they kicked in the door, threw a pipe bomb in, and said, "Hail to the king, baby." They didn't do that. That's not in the things.
This is pure Columbine, though. You're creating the past. It could have happened. I can imagine them doing that.
It could have done.
It could have happened.
But there are like very specific things that they did during it. Like Eric Harris like hit himself in the face to give himself a nosebleed so that he would look like Doom Guy.
Fucking hell.
Like low health Doom Guy gets a bloody nose.
Yeah.
And this was like right before they expected to be blown up in the library. So they, it was the inspiration is in my mind completely like undeniable. That said, once again, I want to reiterate that I don't think that means that they were causally linked. It's that the actual methods that they used were inspired. I mean, even the propane tank bomb, which was pipe bombs, in Duke Nukem,
pipe bombs, Duke Nukem,
but the propane tank, the propane bomb, which is just a propane tank with a pipe bomb taped to it, right? Also from Duke Nukem. Like the design was from Duke Nukem. It's the design that doesn't work, right? But
big shout out to the designers of Duke Nukem for doing that. They probably saved lives.
It literally saved lives. That like the joke for the bigger bomb was just the regular bomb duct tape to fuel. Like,
no, but the point you bring up that video games inspired this and movies. It's an aesthetic inspiration in that they were very self-consciously taking design cues from games they liked, because so much of this act was like, yes, to say it was an aesthetic act is not to say it didn't have real world consequences, because yes, people died, but it was an act where you can see both Harris and Klebold in their journals imagining almost like the camera over their shoulder watching what they're doing as they're trying to make it cinematic, or whatever the video game equivalent of being cinematic is. This is a very self-consciously aestheticized act influenced by mass media and video games.
Yeah. I mean, film, video games. I don't actually think that I don't really think that the music. So they reference Nine Inch Nails, they reference KMFDM regularly.
Yeah, there are a lot of Nine Inch Nails lyrics.
Yeah, but none of those seem to be like, they seem to be mostly an expression of the alienation and sort of like, also film references, obviously. Dylan Klebold's journal routinely references the David Lynch's Lost Highway.
He keeps drawing it specifically, and it's just everywhere.
He combines references to the Nine Inch Nails Downward Spiral with David Lynch's.
He does draw literal downward spiral.
Literally draws like this sort of combined. It's not a great drawing, but it uses all of the imagery at once in like a way that is at least conceptually cohesive. And so, like, it's really an expression of like Klebold trying to reflect his emotional and mental state. Like that is not something that it's basically him seeing, in my opinion, him seeing like doing the massacre as his like last chance at claiming some sort of personal value. Right? He viewed himself as like pretty worthless, pretty unloved and unlovable, like not someone who had much to offer the world or had any sort of existing support systems, despite, right, all of them, basically having like, both of them having like a broader friend group and like really and like good home lives, like good home lives. Dylan's like, I can't.
What was her name? It was a woman, Robin something, who apparently was really into him, and he wasn't interested.
Okay,
he wasn't interested back.
She was like his. So 3 days before the shooting, or I should probably refer to it as massacre so that I don't continue to characterize this as something that was supposed to be despite the most of them died, almost all of the victims died from shooting. I should probably not characterize it as a shooting, characterize it as a massacre. But yeah, 3 days before, on the 17th, they went to prom, and both of them had dates. And the girl who Klebold went to prom with, there's a prom photo that's out there of them, and their looks match. They're cute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
he basically, what I'm saying is that Klebold gay as fuck for not hitting that, and instead, killing a bunch of people. He literally could. He literally could have like done both if he really wanted to, but he just didn't. He was just like, no, I prefer to be depressed. So
yeah, it is very different from Elliot Rodger in that Elliot Rodger just absolutely, no matter how little effort he put into sitting in public places wearing Gucci and hoping that women would swarm him, nothing happened for him. Whereas Dylan Klebold, while planning to go NBK on his school, was getting attention from the fairer sex.
Yeah. Eric Harris, on his checklist for NBK, included get laid. Like he had get laid.
I think Eric Harris might have been more dissuadable from doing this if he had a girlfriend. Despite
being the angrier of the two, right? I agree with you. I think he was probably the one who could have literally come and had the
post-nut clarity of, maybe I don't need to murder a bunch of people.
You know what? Maybe the world ain't so bad.
Yeah.
But he allegedly asked several different girls to go to prom with him. They declined. He hit the law of large numbers and had a girl named Susan DeWitt go to prom with him. They hung out at his house, went to prom. I think this is the timeline. And then she didn't want to go to the prom after party. And so, he went and hung out alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so but he also mentioned her. He mentioned her alleged. So, and we can get into the recordings that they produced, but in the basement tapes, the transcripts that were officially released state that he apologized. He was like, Susan, I'm sorry. I wish things had gone the other way. Or it didn't have, it could have gone a different way. But this is how it is. So he apologized to her in the basement tapes, and the basement tapes were recorded the morning of the massacre. So it was this was them apologizing to their parents, basically taking full responsibility, and stating that they're sorry for anything for any harm that they caused to their loved ones. Obviously, they don't give a shit about anyone else's.
No, not to everyone else's loved ones.
Right. But it was just these guys did not have fucked up home lives. Their parents were.
They were. Yeah, so it's
literally in none of them, in none of the things, Eric Harris talks about lying to his parents, right? To get out of shit.
He was a teenage boy.
Yeah, right.
Because when he talks about lying,
but he never says he could have said I fucking hate these people, but he never did. He never did.
Yeah. But it's also in lying to his parents. Okay, so eventually the lying to his parents was, yes, I'm hiding that I'm stockpiling firearms and ammunition to carry out a mass casualty attack. That it got to that point. But for a lot of the time, him hiding things from his parents was, we've stashed vodka somewhere. Or exactly. we went out and threw toilet paper at someone's house or set off fireworks. It's just very normal teenage boy stuff.
Yeah, they're missions.
The missions
were so funny.
Because I read about the missions before reading his so for the mission, he had a website where initially he was just posting his Doom and Duke Nukem maps there, and then started posting mission reports where he'd talk about going out with Dylan and a few other people and just doing teenage boy stuff. Just being a nuisance.
Yeah, and it was just like oh man,
actually quite wholesome.
We had this epic mission, and then it was just like
blow up a bin or something with firecrackers.
Yeah, it's like they go to he like lists his arsenal, and his arsenal is like bottle rockets and firecrackers. Yeah. And
it's quite sweet in a way. It's very nostalgic.
Oh, dude, 100% I did all that shit. All that shit, right? Like when I was like middle school, fucking like beginning of high school, I did all sorts of
it
like,
feels it feels
like,
pure 16-year-old boy.
That is absolutely like boys will be boys kind of innocent shit, right?
And I feel like that was one of the things I found most disturbing or upsetting about reading these, because I don't know, reading, say, the reports of it are very disturbing, but Columbine is kind of this, it's almost a mythological act now. Like, it's just constantly referenced, both people referring to the act and people recreating the act if they want to carry out their own mass casualty event. But particularly reading the mission reports really made it very clear. It's like, yes, these were two teenage boys doing very teenage boy things that I did myself.
Right.
I found those things some of the most unsettling aspects of
I did want to say, in one of the missions, I think it was mission 3, there were like 6 missions, and he numbered them, and so I don't have like this mental catalog of them, but I think it was mission 3. He talked about rigging his friend who he was like having a spat with, Brooks Brown. He talks about rigging
because Brooks Brown told his parents where Harris was hiding his alcohol.
Right. Yeah. He tattled about some shit. So and like ultimately Brooks Brown was, they definitely made up, because ultimately Eric Harris told Brooks Brown, like, Brooks Brown is literally the guy who's like, hey, you're cool. Don't go to school tomorrow.
Don't go to school tomorrow.
Yeah. Like, Brooks Brown is the guy who got told that. So, I think the exact quote was what Brooks Brown's recollection of the quote was like, hey, don't come back after lunch or something like that, because they saw him in the morning. And like a lot of the students, these students, like, this was not a closed campus. Like, students would go home during lunch period. Like, they were in and out of class all the time. There was like a designated smoking area for students. It was
really
wild. Yeah, no, what? there was like smokers pit, which was like outside. It was just like outside. It's just wild that like there was like a lot of freedom, right? A lot of freedom in this in this type of school environment. But he told him, don't come back, and he didn't get shot. So
damn.
But they talk about rigging during the missions. They were having a bit of a spat with him, or Eric Harris was having a bit of a spat with him, and so he rigs a busy box on the landline at Brooks's house. Of course, this was like 1998 or something, and so or maybe even earlier when the missions were being done. But
I did appreciate in this. He says, like, for the idiots there who don't know what a busy box is, this is what it is. And that helped me out a lot.
Exactly. And busy. And this is, and of course it's 90, 98, 97 or whatever. And so, there are only landlines, right? And this is supremely inconvenient, but it's also part of a sort of like hacker adjacent type of mischief called phone phreaking. And like back in the day, so there's still a zine that gets published regularly called 2600, which is like 2600 Hacker Quarterly or whatever. And 2600 is a reference to another phone phreaking device called a blue box, which produced a 2600 hertz tone, which was the tone that payphones used to signal that the call had been paid for. So if you had a blue box that produced this tone reliably and you held it up to the handset, you just get a free call, right?
Oh, nice.
So there were all sorts of like things like this, and this is like very anarchist cookbook sort of like adjacent stuff, just like this low level phone phreaking type thing. But like I built busy boxes when I was a kid, like, and it's basically just like there are multiple ways to do it, but the easiest way is to basically just build a couple short loops of phone line, and you just plug them into each other and split the line so that the signal's always feeding back on itself. So when they pick up the handset, it always sounds like there's something in progress, and when someone calls in, it always sounds like there's something in progress, even though there's no real connection, right? And it's unpowered, right? Because it's all low voltage lines. So someone would really need to know that this had been done to them, or they have to like go to the phone. They literally have to like go to the phone utility and ask them to troubleshoot it. And it would be the last fucking thing people look at. So it's a supreme inconvenience for whoever has a busy box on their house. But no, it was just like I was definitely the kid dissolving styrofoam in styrofoam and gasoline to make napalm out of the anarchist cookbook, right? Not for any like malicious reason, just because you're it's like oh
because you're a teenage boy. It's just
I'm gonna go. What are you gonna burn?
This is what they do.
Start a bonfire with it, like a bonfire, and then I'm gonna cook fucking s'mores on it because like I don't have anything to burn.
S'mores coated in burned styrofoam.
Well, you throw the napalm at the wood, and then the wood catches fire because it's got napalm on it. But yeah, they tried to make napalm and they couldn't get it to work.
Yeah, they've got the checklist of a number of different compounds that they tried. One of them had a big tick next to it, and they said, "Yeah, this one's pretty good." Yeah, I forget whose. I think it was in Harris's journal.
Dylan really wanted to have he like in his drawing of his character sheet, right, where he was saying where he was going to hang all of his weapons and arsenal and stuff.
Inventory.
Yeah, his inventory, really. He was like, I'm going to get this camera case and I'm going to get napalm bombs in it. He really wanted napalm. They never used it, and the one Molotov that they tried did not work. Like it was very. Molotov's like the easiest.
I'm not sure
of all. I don't understand how they fucked that one.
I'm not sure how you get that wrong. Actually, it's pretty.
Yeah,
conceptually straightforward.
Yeah, it's like they'd never tested that or something. Like for all of the conceptualizing they didn't actually do any like dry runs of the things that they were using. Fortunately, right? They had just like built them, right?
Yeah.
So it's just and that's sort of like, honestly, like that's kind of an indication of the childishness that they were still doing. Like they just assumed that all of these things would work because they'd seen them in video games. Yeah.
It just works.
Yeah, it just
Todd Howard. It just works.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you just light it and throw it and it explodes. It's like, well, actually, Molotov doesn't explode. It doesn't ever explode. It's not what they're, it spreads fire, right? They failed to burn down a library.
Yeah.
It's like theoretically the easiest thing to burn down or among them.
Yeah, that was one of the main takeaways from reading both of their journals, that it sounds silly to say, but yeah, that they're really adolescent, like it's extremely adolescent, different forms of adolescence.
For sure.
Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold they're both very lonely, disaffected young men, but in quite different ways. Harris is the rage option.
For sure. Yeah.
Very angry. Whereas Klebold is I think he actually was a theater kid. He was at least doing like behind the scenes stuff.
That's
for the
right.
School theater.
Yeah, he
He's
was
much more
doing,
theater kid. He's got a lot of his poetry in there.
which is of course doggerel, like
Which is,
it's
man,
teenage poetry.
painful to read.
Dylan
It
does
is,
have a very large active had a very large active vocabulary, and his spelling
yeah,
and grammar was way better than Harris.
and his handwriting. Harris's handwriting. So there are not transcripts, but people who have, I guess it is a transcript. Yeah,
Yeah.
who've transcribed the handwritten notes into much more legible typed documents. Klebold's, you can read Klebold's writing. Harris's writing, I tapped out on pretty quickly.
Yeah, I definitely read the transcript version, and I had transcript on one screen, handwriting on the other screen. It doesn't help that the scans were like pretty low res.
Yeah, because you do miss out on stuff if you just read the transcripts. Because especially Klebold had lots of drawings. He had particular symbols. He had that symbol for fate that he always put in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the chaos symbol.
Yeah.
The 8-pointed star. Yeah.
Yeah. And
he was a Dugan fan.
Dugan
he was not. He had never read
Klebold.
Yeah, Dugan was. Yeah. God.
And he's also got I don't know, he'll have like a picture and then around it will be all of this writing, or he'll have like "I love you" scrawled in huge, very childish handwriting, and then some poetry written like between or over the letters.
Yeah, most of Dylan Klebold's journal was like, I mean, I would say probably a quarter of it was rough drafts of love letters to girls.
And it's hard to say whether it was
which became
girls or
girl.
Yeah, because I mean, all the names in them are blacked out, so you can't see to whom he's referring. But
presumably not Robin.
Yeah. And
the most alpha widowed woman ever. Sorry, babe. No time for love. Gotta kill a bunch of people and then myself. Like,
while lusting after someone else, and then complaining that one of his friends got a girlfriend. There's a lot of that, especially at the beginning of Klebold's journals.
That's right. Yeah,
one of his friends got a girlfriend, and I think Klebold was like he was feeling friend widowed by his male friend, who was no longer as interested in spending time with Dylan Klebold as with his girlfriend, funnily enough. But also that, I don't know, maybe he introduced them, or he felt in some way that he deserved to be, I don't know, more fundamentally involved in their relationship than he was.
Yeah. It was I mean, I think we can all remember a time when when we were young men, and our friends started getting girlfriends, and it was like, oh yeah, I don't see so much of him anymore, right? It's, oh, you're spending all your time with your girlfriend. It's like, well, then you get a girlfriend and you're like, oh yeah,
oh, that's why.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
It's better to be on that side of it than the other side.
Yeah, and then you're like, yeah, all right, I understand. Yeah, then you get older and you see your friends like once every 6 months, and you're like, oh, what's up, man? Wife guy. But no, it's fine.
Yeah. When you were talking about the that both of them had stable childhoods too, that was one really striking thing about this, because I hadn't done a deep dive on Columbine before preparing for this episode, and I was struck by the fact that, I mean, probably the greatest disruption in Harris's home life was that his dad was US Air Force transport pilot, and so they moved around a bunch, but that's it.
But
it's not like
except they hadn't moved around that fucking much, because he knew a bunch of he had like a stable friend group, and he had like known a bunch of people for years and years. Right? It's not like they moved every 2 years or something like that. He didn't just like show up. You know what I mean? Like they had lived there for like I think they moved to Littleton in like 1993 or something like that. So he'd been there for 6 years, and he was fucking like 17 or 18. It was a pretty substantial portion of his total life. So, like, yeah, I don't know. I agree that that's probably the most disrupted portion, but pretty.
Yeah, and it's not even that bad.
It's not even very bad.
And then Klebold was from his his parents seemed even more stable.
His parents.
One thing you pointed out before recording that was quite funny too is darkly funny.
It is very funny.
Yeah, the Nazi Jew combo of like Eric Harris in his journals just talks a lot. He's got a lot of German in there. And it tends to be.
He routinely threw in German phrases.
Yeah, we didn't like mention, no mercy.
But except they're like phrases from like Rammstein songs. Like he didn't speak German. Like
I didn't expect him to speak German, and it's also really funny that they're from Rammstein songs. Rammstein being the notoriously Hitler-loving band.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, and KMFDM obviously is not actually. He really liked KMFDM. He really liked Rammstein. He really liked Nine Inch Nails. Not exactly. Yeah.
Not Nazi music.
Yeah, not really Nazi music, especially not Rammstein. But
no.
But yeah, and
he talks about Hitler a lot.
Well, he doesn't talk about Hitler a lot. There's like maybe 2 entries where he talks about him.
No, he brings up Hitler. No, he brings up Germany with reference to the Nazis a fair bit, and like how cool it is.
I think it's probably a half dozen or fewer times. Which I guess, it's like 30 entries. So
yeah, there aren't many entries. You're never that far away from him mentioning either that Germany, like Nazi Germany, was really, really cool. All that
he had some good ideas. In fact,
America was really
bad
cool.
Ideas.
Or used to be really, really cool when you had something as cool as Germany, and then the United States came in and stomped all over them, and it made him. He's got that entry where he's like, I was watching something on the Discovery Channel about the Second World War, and I started to feel a bit patriotic hearing about all the cool bombs we make and the planes and the helicopters and how good the military is.
That was just as an aside, that was a golden era for the History Channel in the US, by the way. It was just like cool war shit. That was it. This was pre-Ancient Aliens. This was pre. It was just military industrial complex slop, and that was the high point. The high point. 45 minutes on 45 minutes on Hitler's railroad cannon. Like it's just like when basically I've told you everything you need to know because it was useless and huge.
Was that the one that was so big it didn't really make sense to use, but it was pretty cool because it was so big?
It was the Carl Gustav. The heavy Gustav 80 centimeter railway cannon built by Krupp.
80 centimeter cannon.
Yeah, it was an entire. It looks like something out of 40K. Honestly, you got to put a photo of this thing up. But it looks like something out of 40K. It's like It's like 2 train cars long. It is mounted on rail tracks and basically it can shoot over the horizon. But it couldn't be fired that many times. Like it just wasn't that fucking useful. But it was extremely really cool, extremely big and very cool. Thank God for the 1990s History Channel.
Anyway, so that's Harris, and then Klebold was from a Jewish family.
Yes, exactly. And in Harris's defense, in Harris's like he didn't.
We're going to rehabilitate Harris now.
The only time he mentioned Jews in a negative was like he wasn't mentioning Jews like Der Juden. he was mentioning Jews like Eric Cartman, right? He was just like,
yep.
I have no Jews, find my bomb.
Yeah.
Like that was like literally it. It wasn't even about finances or control of the U.S. military in the interests of a foreign country. It wasn't even about or lobbying. It wasn't about any of those things.
No, it really felt like, okay, what's an insult for the sort of person who might find my bomb? I'll just use this word that's close at hand.
Yeah, I've been dropping hard R's.
He has a lot more
I need
N-bombs,
a different
actually.
word. Yeah.
Right. He was much more passionate about that, and about the mentally disabled. He had a lot of words about that, because he had this whole thing. Like the Klebold and Harris journals are quite different. Like the Harris ones are, he returns. He's got the idea of natural selection being very important. It's quite prominent early on in the journals, and then it tapers off. He'll refer to it. He'll have throwbacks to it a few times later on, but it's really front loaded. But natural selection's great. Anyone who's mentally disabled, we've just got to kill them. I think it was during the
drain on resources. Yeah. He really had
I think he was wearing a shirt that said natural selection on it.
Yeah, Klebold had a shirt that said Wrath, and Eric Harris had a shirt that said natural selection. They literally got shirts. They got shirts for the shooting or for the massacre. They got shirts made. It was obviously aestheticized, right? As you said before.
Yeah,
obviously
highly aestheticized.
They made costumes. So
yes. And they drew out the costumes too, and they're like multiple pages of slightly different alterations of the costume.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is how I'm going to do it. I mean, even the like suspenders with stuff like hung off of them. The suspenders are a Natural Born Killers reference. Like the suspenders are from Natural Born Killers. So, it's and the tiny glasses that that they both had. They had tiny glasses and suspenders, and like that's Natural Born Killers. And I don't recall Oliver Stone or like Quentin Tarantino or Woody Harrelson catching any flack for that at the time. I mean, granted, I was in high school when this occurred, but I don't recall any of the. I recall a lot of the like calls to like ban violent video games and things like that, but I don't recall the Natural Born Killers thing being like of much currency.
Because that is interesting. Because I haven't counted the number of times they reference, say, Doom versus Natural Born Killers, but
NBK Natural Born Killers, sure, way more.
NBK felt much more prominent to me. Also, because say with Doom, they would reference it as like, so Harris, for example, would say like, we should get people. And as an exercise in natural selection, we should put people in Doom world. We should construct like the first map of Doom, complete with imps and zombie soldiers, and just put people in there. And if you survive that, then you're okay.
It was basically if you can't kill a cyber demon, you don't get to live.
Then there's no saving you.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to make it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Minimum level of masculinity to get a girlfriend in 1999 is single-handedly kill a cyber demon.
Yep, and it's only gotten worse. It's only gotten worse. Women want you to have a $2 million gross income and be able to kill a cyber demon
with your bare fists. Yeah,
with your bare fists, and they don't want to cook. It's only gotten worse.
But so there are those references to Doom, but the Natural Born Killers references are much more directly like, this is how we are thinking of what we are going to do to our
exactly school. Yeah, they are. They're much more like you could probably say reified, right? Many of the Doom references are also like references just directly to the property, like can't wait to play Doom. Right? Can't wait to play Doom with my boys.
Like, this is an IP that I enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like okay, all right. Well, I'm not counting that as the same type of reference, right? So
yeah, I think they're quite different.
But yeah, and I mean, I have to chalk some of that up, I think, to the fact that the people who were, the people who were controlling the media at the time were, boomers and silent generation, and the last little bit of the greatest generation, and all of them had grown up watching movies. All of them were they were, heavy users of film, right? And so they weren't going to blame film. Typically, it would be weird for them to blame film, but none of them played fucking video games. None of them knew a damn thing about video games. And so if they heard anything about video games, it's like, well, we watch movies and we didn't do this. So what about video? It must be the video games. Right. And, like I said before, I think they were obviously clearly directly influenced by video games and film. And but I think that's why the sort of narrative focused on the games, right? Just because the people who were constructing it didn't want to implicate themselves or, get rid of the media properties they enjoyed. So,
yeah. And here's a quote, because my notes for this episode basically just me copying down quotes from their journals. It's hard. I mean, you don't get the full effect by hearing them said out loud because the spelling errors are they're part of the experience. I mean, but this is quite a representative way in which they refer to Doom or just video games in general. This is from Eric Harris's journal quite early on. And Ultimate Doom, so all caps, Ultimate Doom test is one in which people are put in an environment where they need to survive using only their smarts and military skills. Put them in a Doom world, no authority, no refuge, no BS cop-out excuses. If you can't figure out the area of a triangle or what cation, which probably just means caution rather than a chemistry reference, cation means, you die. If you can't take down a demon with a chainsaw or kill a hell prince with a shotgun, you die. Like that's basically the video game
demon with a chainsaw. I think I could do it. I'm not sure about a shotgun and a hell prince. Depends on which hell prince. I don't think he was talking about any of the Goetic princes, which you wouldn't need a shotgun for. You just have to invoke the name of Solomon. But
but they both have quite strong opinions about Christianity. So,
and I mean, this was also, okay. So a few notes on this. So they hated preps and jocks, right?
Yeah, that was something that came up a lot. And I feel like that was a bit both before my time and probably just less prominent in Australia than in the United States.
Oh, but I got to tell you, look, I'm not going to say that I was a lot like Harris and Klebold, but I was a lot like a lot of their friends, right? I'm sure. When I was growing up, and I was like this. I mean, I was listening to Nine Inch Nails and Rammstein and KMFDM. Like that's the shit I listened to. I listened to The Cure, and which was a little retro at the time, but and. I owned a black trench coat in high school, before this. Yeah. In fact, it got me. In fact, when this occurred, I was in high school and having absolutely no inclination to do anything like this, and at the time actually being pretty anti-gun conceptually. I got called in by the principal and the Monsignor and all this shit, and they were like, so we need to talk to you about it. It's like, guys, I'm not going to kill anyone. Yeah. But that happened to a lot of kids. Cause and you know what, I'm going to give grace to the school administration at my high school because no one had ever worried about this before. Right. No one had ever worried about this. And there were, I think we can all agree, justifiable concerns about some sort of contagion, right?
Which were like justifiable in that the concerns were true.
Because it happened. Yeah, exactly.
It happened.
Yeah, it absolutely happened. Didn't happen like the next week, but it happened.
But it's still happening now.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's happening less now. It's happening less now. I think. I mean, we can talk about that later. But the point is that like the whole like jocks and preps versus the like the unique people who are unique because they shop at Hot Topic and are still like just adolescents trying to find their identity, right?
Yeah,
that's like that was the fucking zeitgeist of being a high schooler at this time, right? Like that's what you inhabited if you were in America in high school during this time period. Like those were the factions, right? Like oh, you read Yonan Vasquez comics. Oh well, you're a goth. You're a, you know, and like essentially they were goths, right? Like they didn't like call themselves goths and didn't wear makeup and shit, right? But like that's the sort of
they listen to the right music.
That's the factional association, right? If you're listening to Nine Inch Nails and KMFDM and you're probably listening to Tool and like it's just that's just what it was, right? And it's just unique in that they did anything about it. Like obviously there aren't a whole lot of or there weren't a whole lot of there weren't a whole lot of like actual factional conflicts between jocks, preps, goths. Like, we did not have a three-way civil war in in the 90s.
One thing that really struck me reading the journals side by side is that Klebold and Harris have quite different views of the world, in that like Eric Harris's journals, he's got this whole thing about natural selection, animal instincts being smothered SMUTHERD by laws and other artificial things like that. And that really things like civilization.
He directly references Nietzsche,
Christianity,
and Hobbes, right?
Yeah. I think I did message you saying like I think he's a Hobbesian without realizing it, and then he directly references Hobbes later on.
He was like, I really like this Hobbes guy. Like, but he's got that thing. It could be a bit of Rousseau as well, that man is born free and is everywhere in chains. Well, he didn't read any. He also didn't read any Max Stirner, but like he definitely was like, it's right if I say it's right. Like,
he would have liked Stirner.
He would have loved Stirner. He would have absolutely loved Stirner.
Yeah, and he's got this whole thing about like, me and Dylan have self-awareness, which is why we should be able to decide what happens to robots. A robot is basically someone who goes to school and then goes and works rather than shooting up their school.
Right. And Klebold says zombies, right? That's shorthand for everyone he doesn't like.
Yeah. But Eric's got this
normies.
Yeah, there's very, very survival of the fittest. There is no judge above me. I decide what is right, what is wrong, and if someone is stronger than me and can force me to accept what they say is right and wrong, then that's justified.
Yep.
Whereas Klebold's quite different in that his like, we'll put the aesthetic quality of his entries aside for the moment, because that's also quite different to Harris's. But he's got this whole thing about how the meaning of life is to be loved by the person whom you love, to be happy with yourself. Interestingly, this is only for the gods.
Yeah, it was the homicide of young Werther. Like the homicidal ideation of young Werther is Dylan Klebold's journals.
Like, yeah. But Dylan Klebold, he does actually seem to be at several points he seems to be acknowledging the existence of some sort of supernatural world, some sort of order giving laws above himself, which Harris absolutely does not acknowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, you're right. They have different
that could be his Lutheran upbringing. So apparently both his parents were quite prominent in the local church community. So it could be that. Look, I don't know about the faith of Harris's parents. I didn't really find anything on that. Klebold, interestingly, he acknowledges that good and bad are absolute, and that they're always in conflict and cycling. So if you have a time when evil predominates, but you're going to have a time when good predominates, and those are in balance, always cycling, and there's never going to be the victory of one over the other, which I get is a pretty major departure from his Lutheran upbringing. But I find that very fundamental difference in where they see law coming from as quite interesting. I don't know if they discussed it with each other or not.
I mean, you'd have to think that they would have had ample bull sessions, right? Like between each other. It's just that's just how teenagers are.
How teenagers act. Yeah, I guess Klebold called himself vodka.
Yeah, they really. Oh yeah. Also, we didn't even get into that, but like these guys went by their handles.
Yeah,
just like they went by their handles.
Klebold was calling himself vodka, like capital V, lowercase O, capital D, lowercase K.
Camel case.
Why? But why not? So this was a huge missed opportunity. Why not the DK capitalized and everything else lowercase, like Dylan Klebold? Big D, big D.
But I thought it was capital V, lowercase O, capital D, capital K, lowercase A.
I saw it the just straight like alternating upper and lowercase.
Really? Oh, pure camel case. I mean, I concede that I could be wrong about that, but I think that.
I mean, I could be as well.
I think
he might have just
the vowels were lowercase. Yeah, I think the vowels were lowercase. Yeah, I also would expect that he was probably not super, like he didn't have a really tight branding sheet about this. You know what I mean? Also, yeah. Oh, so he called himself vodka. Eric Harris called himself Reb for rebel.
Presumably, yeah.
Because he was, he and you know what? Honestly, kind of what's on the tin.
Quite rebellious.
Yeah, he quite rebellious. Like he did not want to acknowledge any authority above himself. And that's absolutely like, you know what
he did.
He knew himself. Yeah, he knew himself enough to select the right pseudonym. It was really funny when they were talking about getting booze, though, where Eric is like bragging to himself, right? He was like, "Oh yeah, I got some tequila and some Irish cream." It's like, "Oh yeah, I only drink hard liquor, like Irish cream." Like this dude loved Irish cream.
Parts like that are some of the parts I found most disturbing because it just makes it so inescapably clear that these are they're dickhead teenage boys who just know nothing. It's like, oh, I'm fucking crazy because I drink Irish cream.
Oh no, I mean, I remember when I was a teenager and we were like, oh, what kind of booze can we get? It's like, oh man, I want some Bacardi. Why did I want Bacardi? Because it had a bat logo, and I thought that was fucking cool. I thought that was fucking cool. Yeah. I quite like the Joe Camel. I think I will smoke now. It's you know what, like. So yeah, and then Dylan Klebold got vodka because of course his name is Vodka, so he has to drink vodka. I bet that
which again is such a teenage boy thing to do. It's like, oh, this is my thing. He made the name first.
He made the name first, and then was like, oh, and I'm just gonna drink vodka.
Yeah, what's a cool thing to drink?
Yeah, exactly. No, and it's such a teenage boy thing to like. Pick a thing and then that's your thing. Like
that's my personality now.
That's my personality now. Like dudes just be doing that.
Yeah. One big difference too is from the start of Harris's journals, and they started a bit later than Klebold's ones. Is like he's really angry. Like his journals are just wall to wall anger, and he seems like just from the beginning set on violence. And I mean, I guess we've got the benefit of hindsight now, because I think plenty of teenage boys just like think about enacting their will on the world violently, and just nothing ever comes of it. Whereas with Harris, is like we know that he actually did, so it's hard to say how serious he was about this from the first entry. But at least it feels like he's never having to talk himself into, oh, maybe violence is a good idea, maybe not. Whereas with Klebold's, you get the impression that he's trying to talk himself into, oh, it would be a good idea to shoot up my school throughout the entries, and it's only towards the end. It might be it's in one of the last entries where he directly says something about going.
Well, that's it.
NBK.
Yeah,
and like, oh, and this will be a good thing to do. And it's like he's finally decided, oh, this is what I want.
Yeah, it's and part of it is that there's like, so whenever there is a co-op shooting like this, or whenever there's like two people who engage in some sort of mass violence, there's always some sort of conversations like which one was the primary and which one was the secondary. And people have noted that Harris is more consistent in this regard, and because Dylan seemed to rely upon Harris for sort of like emotional and social validation, right? Like he had this kind of dependent sort of, there is a dependent tone in
he's so desperate for approval and for value. Most clearly when he's talking about I want someone to love me, you can imagine him being a bit of an emotional sponge.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't know that that's, really, I don't know that I'm willing to like fully commit to that line. Right. But I can see how you might get the impression. The reason why I don't like that is because, it seems to excuse Klebold, right. And like place it upon Harris. Like it's incumbent upon him to
get Klebold not to shoot a bunch of people. Yeah.
Right. Like it's not like, I think you just kind of had a perfect storm here. Right. Like, none of the other, like there is, to my mind, no chance that their other friends, they had not like talked about this type of thing before. Right.
And there was at least one of their friends that they invited in, and then ended up trying to play it off as a joke, because he was like, no, you know what, actually I don't want to kill people at school.
Well, and there was also in the they did an exquisite corpse in one of the journal entries. In Dylan's journal is an exquisite corpse where they like write 3 lines and then they pass the journal, and then it's someone else's handwriting, and then they write 3 lines. And
is this the one where they're writing a story about like being in class, and the teacher's a zombie and starts throwing like flesh blobs at them, and then there are grenade launchers somewhere, and it just feels like doom.
Yeah. No, it is, and it's like, so they had, but this was in the one journal, right? Like this was from a single notebook. And so like Dylan passed this notebook that contained all these other things, was passing it around class. Right. And this was like not super long before, like it was the same, school year. And like, so they're doing this exquisite corpse with their buddies in class. And so for people who don't know what an exquisite corpse is, it's basically you write a couple lines of something and then you pass it off, and the next person does a couple lines and then you pass it off, and the next, it's so on and so forth. It's literally what they did. Like, that's not in any of the notes of the transcripts, but like that is how that's a thing that's done. Like it's a like Dadaists used to do it. It's like it's a thing that kids would do. And so like there's no way that like the kids that they went on, there's no way that like Brooks Brown probably knew about it. Zach Heckler, who was Kibbs, and Chris Morris,
and went with them on the missions, where like glue people's doors and things.
These other guys who were like sort of like these other guys who were in their orbit had definitely been in bull sessions and had, probably reasonably not taken these things as warning signs or serious at all. Right? Just like there was no reason for them to like conceptualize these things as having been serious, because it just wasn't in the realm of the real, right? Like there were not school shootings like Columbine, before Columbine.
That, and even in a time when, because let's say I only went to school post school shootings being a thing, but I mean, in Australia it's not really a thing, but it's like a thing you hear about happening, particularly in America. Like, just teenage boys say stupid stuff to each other all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not it's like if one of my friends when I was 17 or something said like, I want to shoot this person, I'm not interpreting that as a warning sign.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I want to fucking kill that guy. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, but nowadays you got to say, man, I really hope that guy has an undiagnosed congenital heart condition that takes him out before he can get treatment for it. Right? It's just like, I wish him ill in a way that can't be construed as me being able to influence it in any way. Right? Like,
one thing I found really interesting is both of them, but particularly Harris, seemed very concerned that there would be changes to the law in response to the attack that he and Klebold were planning. Because here's a quote from him. We are kind of... here we go. I'll go from here. And God damn it, do not blame anyone else besides me and V for this. So, as an aside, V, vodka. Don't blame my family. They had no clue and there is nothing they could have done. They brought me up just fucking fine. Don't blame toy stores or any other stores for selling us ammo, bomb materials, or anything like that, because it's not their fault. I don't want no fucking laws on buying fucking PVC pipes. We are kind of a select case here, so don't think this will happen again. Don't blame the school. Don't fucking put cops all over the place just because we went on a killing spree. Doesn't mean everyone else will and hardly ever do people bring bombs or guns to school anyway. The admin is doing a fine job as it is. I don't know who will be left after we kill, but damn it, don't change any policies just because of us. It would be stupid, and if there is any way in this fucked up universe we can come back as ghosts or whatever, or what the fuck ever, we will haunt the life out of anyone who blames anyone besides me and V. If by some weird as shit luck my and V survive and escape, we will move to some island somewhere, or maybe Mexico, New Zealand, or some exotic place where Americans can't get us. If there isn't such place, then we will hijack a hell of a lot of bombs and crash a plane into NYC with us inside, iring away as we go down. Just something to cause more devastation. So I think I'm normally quite good at reading things aloud just from practice on this show. It's quite difficult to read their writing out without tripping over yourself.
The spelling and incorrect words. You for people who have not seen the journals and have not looked through them, it is really like, especially Harris, really just scrawled in there, like almost stream of consciousness. Like he's, he says my and V, right? It's like he was probably going to form the sentence in a slightly different way and just like didn't go back and correct the word.
Faulknerian.
Yeah. Yes. The Faulkner of mass casualty events.
But I found that really interesting that it really, particularly Harris brought this up a few times. It really seemed to bother him, the idea that there might be changes to the law.
Yeah.
On the basis of just one little school shooting. It's just because we went on a killing spree doesn't mean everyone else will.
He does. Yeah, he didn't want the law to be legislated for corner cases, which is good. He's right. That's good policy. It's not how it's done, but he's right. It turns out everything
responsible centrist Eric Harris.
Everything they did was already illegal.
It's like, it was already not legal to go to your school with
bombs and guns
and bombs
kill a
and
bunch of people.
Try to kill people.
Yeah, they should make it extra illegal.
I just found that an psychologically interesting aspect of Harris's journals, particularly that several times he's like, no, don't make societal changes based on what we are about to do, what I am planning on doing, the mass murder that I am planning on carrying out.
Yeah. It's like, well, I mean, but of course he would not want there to be additional laws because of this, right? He just like, it's weird. Okay. Of course he wouldn't want there to be additional laws because he, doesn't like laws. But it is kind of funny because it seems like perhaps he doesn't want to see the consequences of what he is about to do. And so for that reason he doesn't want to see the consequences of what he's about to do reflected in the world. Right. And so does he fully understand what he is about to do? Right. I mean, I think, yes, he's culpable for it, but does he realize that like, you are not going to be around, right? You're not going to be around to see all those cops there, and you're not going to be around to have to deal with Brady Bill 2.0 or whatever occurs as a result of the Columbine massacre, right?
You also wonder to what extent is he then aware of, say, what it will do to someone's parents if they're, in the morning, it is a normal day, their child leaves to go to school, and then they find out at lunchtime, oh, by the way, your 17-year-old son is dead.
Yeah, right.
Would they have truly comprehended that as well? It's like, again, of course they're culpable. It's not to exonerate them, but the constantly saying don't change the law on account of us, does that demonstrate that they're too immature to really know what the consequences of what they're doing?
Yeah. It is really funny that just for those listening from abroad, there weren't any major law changes on as a result of the Columbine shooting, by the way.
Oh, so they took Harris's advice seriously.
Yeah, there was not. So there wasn't. There wasn't a. There wasn't a federal law passed. Colorado did pass the Robin Anderson bill, like the bill named after Dylan Klebold's
girlfriend
prom date. Yeah. Because she she is the one who like actually carried out the purchase of the shotguns and the carbine. And
that's right. She was older than Klebold, wasn't she?
She was 18. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were 17 when they got them. Although it was legal for them to possess them, they just couldn't like transact. Anyway, so it basically made that a crime, which it wasn't at the time. And
really?
Yeah, so they made it illegal for that specific series of events to have occurred, which, I mean, they could have, it could literally gone to another state because it was a Colorado state level law. Like they could have just driven to a gun show in Wyoming and done it. But yeah, it's not how they did it. And so they stopped that. So, but yeah, apparently but of course, like it doesn't require a true legal change in order to have impacts. Schools obviously have different levels of security now than they did then. And apparently a bunch of bullying laws were sort of a bunch of like anti-bullying things were put in place as a result of this. Or like directly crediting the Columbine massacre. I don't really buy the bullying thing. I don't think
no, because they don't. Look, I'm sure
they don't complain about it. They don't even complain about it.
They don't complain about it. The closest you get to this is Harris towards the end says you know, presumably addressing popular kids at school, had the opportunity to invite me to things. You have my number, but you didn't. So, maybe there you go. I'm sure, I'm certain he was a weird kid and good-looking popular people didn't want him to be around them, which, fair enough. But
yeah,
to what extent was he being really badly bullied? Like, sure, I could believe it happened. People were mean to him, but I expect, given how much he complains about in his journals, if he were really being picked on in a targeted, consistent way, he would have brought it up at least once.
Yeah, like at least in his private, in his private journals. Yeah, let's see. What other things? Oh, this is a bit of a change of pace, but I'd like to circle back on Eric Harris's website.
Yeah.
So he's got a section on his website that I was like, I was actually laughing aloud. Where it's like basically
it was this.
It was the what grinds my gears. He just has these series of like, what grinds my gears?
Things I don't like.
Yeah, things I don't like. Like a list of things that I don't like. Also, promises for future content were frequent on the
classic content creator. Didn't deliver on any of them.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're gonna have more things here. Like, so stay tuned. And it's like, oh, you never did any of that. Never promised future content ever. Never. Eric Harris could have avoided a lot of embarrassment by not promising future content. But in the list of things he dislikes, and this website apparently was older, right? So this website was from like 1997, or something like that. He was like, what I hate? Racists. And then in his private journal, he's like, what I hate? Hard R's.
Yeah, he's got a lot of those.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's just like, and he and he's also got like America, Love It or Leave It and all this stuff. Like the website, he's basically a hicklib. Like which makes sense because he's from a wealthy suburb of Denver. So like, yeah, just hicklib. So
do you think which was the real Harris? Do you think this was it's called Takia or something? This is the esoteric Takia. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. No, I think he meant it both times, and he was an adolescent. Yeah,
I think he simply did not know what he wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Until he made a series of very hard to take back decisions, culminating.
That's right.
The Columbine High School massacre.
And this is a great illustration of the concept of revealed preference. Like, that's right. Ultimately, he did make his choice in regards to melanistic Americans in by committing 20% of all white on black homicides in Colorado in 1999 in the shooting.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, the shooting of Isaiah Scholes in the library. There were 5, and that was one of them. So Eric Harris, 20%.
Really moving the needle.
Really moving the needle. He did. There, yeah. 25% increase over the previous number.
One thing actually that I also found interesting about reading these is comparing the written records left by the shooters of Columbine versus subsequent like mass casualty killers. That there is a, maybe this is millennials versus Zoomers, but more recent mass casualty attacks, especially for the show and just out of morbid interest, I've had a look at a few of the quote unquote manifestos left behind by people who've done spree killings.
Are always a good read.
Yeah, but they're getting stupider and stupider and more subliterate. And like I'm like subliterate compared to the Columbine journals, where like neither of these people could spell for shit. Harris at the beginning, like quite close to the start, one of the first entries has this whole thing about how spelling is stupid, and I guess this is philosophically consistent. If I believe I should spell something this way, then I can spell it this way.
Yeah,
and you can't stop me.
They're right. They couldn't stop. He was never stopped.
Yeah, he was never proven right once
getting
again.
Away with it.
He's ideologically consistent, Eric Harris, when it comes to the anarchy of spelling.
Yeah,
but even compared to that, the recent manifestos, the things that call themselves manifestos, tend to be extremely short. Maybe it's a reflection of the sort of attention spans of the people who are drawn towards this sort of thing. It's almost like the I think it's Platonic talking about the idea of epigenes, how you have an initial genius, someone who creates something truly new, and then subsequent culture is a series of imitations of that, growing less and less vital until that form dies, and then you have a new genius create a
new paradigm
that is then imitated, and that cycle continues on. There are various recapitulations of this sort of cyclical idea of ideas or history, but I can't help but feel there's a little bit of that going on with Columbine, both in terms of people are clearly imitating it in the sort of targets they pick, and that it is just an accepted cultural form now that like just a certain type of person, if they feel really bad, just go and shoot up their school or some other soft target. And we'll try to leave behind some sort of written material. Although I don't think these diaries were written with the intention of being read posthumously.
Yeah, they definitely weren't. And I mean, also
that's an innovation now. That's a new feature.
Yeah, because they didn't send. They could have put them in the mail,
send this to newspapers,
to the news. And the basement tapes were meant for their parents, right? It wasn't meant for to be. There's some evidence, right? Because they noted that certain things were clues, right? There was some evidence that they kind of wanted to, because they wanted to die in the explosion, they didn't want it to be immediately obvious who had done this.
But I guess actually having said this, the section I read out earlier where Harris is threatening to haunt people who legislate on the basis of just one little school massacre that he's planning on committing, Look, I mean, it's also teenage hyperbole as well. It's, like shaking your fist at the world, and that could have been just for him, for himself, or it could have been for an audience reading his journals after his death. It's sort of hard to
Right.
tell.
I
But
mean,
it is interesting
yeah.
how the school the school shooting as a meme has evolved over time, and particularly the written materials left behind. Because now it is just a collection of memes. It's just brain rot. Much of much
How
of
long until
what's
we have how long until we have the first mass casualty TikTok? Like
I'm
it's
kind of surprised it
literally.
hasn't.
I'm surprised it
Okay, but
hasn't.
so you had is it Brendan Tarrant, the New Zealand mosque
Yeah, but that
guy,
wasn't. Yes,
live
yes,
streamed it.
he did live stream it, but it wasn't a TikTok. I'm
No, no,
sorry.
no. It was
I'm
the the
saying I'm saying
the attention span was still that of a millennial.
I'm saying a TikTok. I'm saying like a TikTok manifesto, not the actual
Oh,
event.
TikTok manifesto. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't had something. Look, I'm not an expert. I'm an expert on this, but I'm kind of surprised that there hasn't been something like that. If not something literally published on TikTok, then something short form. Like a 12-second clip of someone saying, "Yeah, this is why I'm going out to you know shoot at the local Chick-fil-A."
Right. Don't put that out there. Don't put that out there. They got a long line of cars. They got a long line of cars. That's and they're all trapped together. So if someone
Mm.
started, it would be very difficult for them to get away. I'm
Yeah,
just
this is
saying.
a
Not ideas. Don't do that.
no.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
I agree with you though. Like the manifestos have gotten a lot worse. I mean
it's
the
interesting. I mean, because Gabe Sinclair is not here to bring up Spengler, you could see. I suppose it falls to me that you can see in this. This is sort of the springtime, first flowering of this particular cultural form in Columbine, and then you get to something like Elliot Rodger, where he sat down and wrote a quite a long manifesto, including his own personal history as background and justification. And it was
right.
a considered work written to be distributed for people to read in light
Right.
of his mass shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was considered, whereas I don't think these diaries were really thought of as manifesto or were written
No,
as
absolutely not.
manifestos
No,
to
no.
contextualize the planned bombing and in reality shooting of Columbine High School.
They really were. Yeah, no, they were journals
Yeah,
for the users primarily.
and if we take My Twisted World as sort of the summer, like the summer of this
Okay.
particular world soul, we do seem to be in the autumnal or maybe even winter period where.
Have you read the Nashville Tranifesto?
Yeah, I read that. It was only like a page or two, or at
It
least
was
what
like a
I.
couple
It's
pages
like
of
nothing.
it's just like scribbling like a chimp did it. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like very incoherent sort of void slop. But
And it sounds like it sounds sort of insensitive and dumb for me to be talking about it in this way. And I get like to an extent it is, but I think it is also actually interesting and probably says something that how mass shooters see themselves and how they prepare for for them to be remembered. How am I
yeah,
going to be remembered? Because a manifesto is for a suicide attack is in large part that like it is
it's
your
a suicide
posthumous
letter.
PR.
Yeah,
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 that they are really degenerating into incoherent collections of memes. Because even the Nashville one, I would consider to be a meme manifesto because like there were from memory like there were references to like just like culture war issues and things which are basically just memes that are slightly more highbrow than sharing JPEGs on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and
to the point where it's like the Charlie Kirk assassin was carving memes into bullets. How it is getting closer and closer and closer to just sharing image macros.
Right. Yeah.
I think that actually you are actually getting insight into something interesting happening culturally by having a look at how shooter manifestos have changed over time.
No, like the Tyler Robinson bullet casings are just like they really are just.
Was it just from Helldivers too?
It's just like bottom. It's just
voice call outs from there.
It's like bottom text that kills. Like that's just some of them were, but like not like one of them was like, "Hey, fascist, catch." Yeah, but I mean, it really is. You're right. It's like impact font, like straight to the throat this is where the memes have gone, right? Your reaction image is now carved into ammunition.
Do you think it represents? So I mean, it could mean a bunch of things. Do you think it just represents, say, that people are less inclined to write something down that requires a degree of concentration? Because, say, Klebold and Harris seem to be writing their journals in some way to vent, to think things through, because it was just more common, I think, back then when they were writing this, and it was less common to share everything with people online.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so, do you think the change in the manifestos or your posthumous written materials or whatever you want to call these, as just a bucket term, is it just represents changing ways of people expressing themselves, or it actually represents a change in how the people carrying out these acts see themselves? Because, like with Columbine, they weren't imitating. They weren't imitating like a previous Columbine shooting. They were
imitating this gestalt of the media that they had idealized.
Exactly. Whereas subsequent shooters were actually consciously referencing Columbine, and then now you probably have people who are referencing Columbine, like at a few stages of remove. Do you think there's actually been a change in this memeplex?
A substantive change, or like we're basically waiting for the next paradigm shift?
Yeah,
right?
the next.
So your mass casualty events are stuck in refinement culture, and they need their next genius. Is what you're saying? You're calling for
that is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Not only am I saying it, this is a normative statement. It should happen. Right?
Yeah. This is odd. So yeah, I did. So I think that probably it's weird because there's sort of like this, and I don't want to say I'm just not sure what the term would be, but there's this catalog of shooters, and there's a danger of when you like recite a litany of these mass murderers, that you sort of create a pantheon or a hagiography of them, right? Just like the VTech guy, the VTech guys.
Is it necessary for us to both say like Columbine was a sickening act? Like it was an evil.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't get us wrong.
Kill random people. Yeah. But yeah, I think that actually we may be seeing a change. And I think that I think that there's going to be fewer mass casualty of here's me, crystal ball, orb pondering right now. All right. I think there's going to be fewer mass casualty events and a lot more assassinations. Because I think people are over mass casualty. And it no longer, number one, it no longer like hits the news the same way it used to. Like, there was a, shooting and like 10 people died. It's like, well, that is not going to make it. That's not going to make it to 48 hours in the present news cycle. Not anymore.
Yeah, you're right. But if someone went out and shot Hassan Piker, like that would,
which is not a thing which is explicitly
we are not advocating for that.
For.
It's theoretical. Yeah.
Yes. I wouldn't be sending flowers to his funeral, but we are not saying that you should do that. But it would make the news. And the and so and I think the change is Mangione. Is Luigi Mangione.
So do you think he was the
iteration?
I mean, look, when I say genius, I mean it's like it's in a platonic sense.
You mean it. You mean it. Yes. You mean it. The one who makes the change. But But the thing is that you also had iteration on that extremely quickly, right? Because is it Tyler Robinson explicitly? So if we believe that Tyler Robinson is the one who did it, and there are, in my opinion, there may be some questions, but if we just take this at face value, then Luigi Mangione was the one who made the change, because the iteration occurred 4 months after. Maybe we could also say, Butler, Pennsylvania, but I think that could have been flash in the pan. I don't think that necessarily put assassination back on the menu.
And is assassination an interesting sense, because it feels much more part of celebrity culture rather than, say, 20th century, I'm going to shoot someone because I'm a convinced fascist, or I'm a convinced communist, and I'm going to kill someone else in the name of some broader idea. So you're not Gavrilo Princip shooting Archduke Ferdinand.
I don't necessarily agree, because the CEO of United Healthcare was nobody. I mean, he was someone with considerable economic power, but it wasn't like you're shooting Ronald Reagan to prove your love for Jodie Foster, right? That's why there wasn't a mimesis around Hinckley, right? And even the assassination of say John Lennon, right? Which could have theoretically, there could have been a through line of celebrity assassinations like that. That's more what you're talking about. But this is people who are doing it for specific political. These are specific political assassinations, right? The United Healthcare CEO was definitely that, and the whoever offed Charlie Kirk was definitely also a political assassination. So
okay, so this is an interesting, so then maybe,
and of course goes without saying, the multiple attempts on Trump's life are political assassinations.
Explicitly political.
Yes,
because then because Columbine, to me, felt, at least reading these journal entries, it felt quite nihilistic. There's this weird blend of nihilism, we do not, we just do not care about ourselves, combined with this intense aestheticization of, isn't Doom 2 really cool?
Well, whereas I wouldn't lay it on the. I wouldn't necessarily lay it entirely on the doorstep of Doom 2, but
I'm not saying Doom 2. I'm not saying were it not for Doom 2, it wouldn't have happened. But I'm saying they Like they obviously thought Doom 2 was really, really cool. And
Yes.
that
And
like,
natural born
that's
killers and
yeah, like that sense of this of these sorts of media products that they thought were really cool, maybe didn't ultimately motivate, weren't the prime movers in it, but they were an important aspect in the attack. In that both Klebold and Harris were consciously trying to import the aesthetics from those media franchises
absolutely
into this act.
Yep.
And then, like Elliot Rodger, I don't, as much as I think people try to make him, certain people into like an incel martyr or something, I think it was just like rage at the world for not giving him what he wanted or not making him feel like he belonged by
Yeah.
someone liking him enough to have sex with him, which to me feels ultimately nihilistic.
It does. Yeah. And Adam Lanza, Adam Lanza was also Adam Lanza idealized Harrison Klebold, the Sandy Hook shooter. Adam Lanza idealized Harrison Klebold, and his personal writings. He did not leave a manifesto, but his personal writings are also like quite nihilistic and have this sort of omnidirectional rage and disaffectation. So
do you think and maybe an element of what we're seeing is, I wouldn't say there's no nihilism. We've suddenly moved to a paradigm of people.
And Sandy Hook also, just a note, Sandy Hook is almost 15 years ago at this point. So this is a long ass time ago.
Man, that went quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But say with the Mangione shooting, I wouldn't say it doesn't feel like it was motivated by like a deep ideological commitment. So say like a committed Marxist assassin, who wouldn't be acting from nihilism, because I think they're contextualizing their acts within this like this broader
Correct.
conceptual quasi-religious framework.
Actually, I think I don't necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily. Wait, sorry. Are you saying that you don't think that Luigi Mangione had that?
No, I'm saying it's not that we've completely moved away from the Stratton nihilism of something like Columbine. Like there's I think there's still quite a lot of nihilism, but it has more direction now than
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Which I think is an important change as well, that they're picking targets not just based on actually, because so the Columbine target was picked because it was like to an extent convenient, and there would have been personal animosities against people they went to school with. Whereas with Mangione, it seems much more part of the media zeitgeist that there's anger about the particular how healthcare is funded in the United States. And
right, which feels like a little wonky, actually. Like, oh, you got the United Healthcare CEO. This doesn't feel like a communist assassination. This feels like a DSA assassination. This is like the Democratic Socialists of America assassination.
But then when you
not
have a look,
not a full on tanky assassination.
But then when you see
because I find it to be wonky. Like it's just like I have a specific like I have a specific policy thing that I'm upset by, right? And so yeah.
But with that, so I'm far from a scholar of Mangione, but from what I remember of it, he wasn't even protesting like specific policy issues. It just felt like, well, I don't like health insurance, and so what will I do? Well, I'll find one of the people running one of the health insurers and I'll shoot him. It felt like a meme assassination, in that it was this very low information target picked for significant media visibility. And what I'm trying to articulate about, or trying to work out on the fly, this whether there is a return of ideological motivations versus just pure nihilism in these sort of assassinations or killings.
Well, I think so.
Mate.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It feels like there is beginning to be some return of meaning or orientation of them, not just pure violence on a nihilistic void, but not yet. Maybe not yet, or maybe it'll never eventuate because of because of deranged attention spans now. But it's not yet the sort of violence on a sort of a rich background of meaning that you would get from a fleshed out political ideology or say religious violence, like say Islamic suicide bombing, which is not taking place on the background of nihilism. Like it's
Right.
an
Yeah.
excess of meaning.
It's very positivistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, no, and and of course we have. I mean, yeah. There's. It, I would also say we should draw a line between what the Columbine massacre and say like um uh, other types of like terrorism basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
Columbine massacre was not terrorism. It had no.
Yeah, and in fact,
no
it's
political
almost
motive.
the opposite in that they said,
Because
"Do not change anything.
Do
because
not
of
change
this."
anything. Exactly. Exactly. It's like he specifically didn't want there to be any political ramifications to
Yeah.
his act. And so, yeah, definitely not terrorism. Horrifying, right? But not, but lacks the certain qualities that would make it terroristic. Yeah, but I do think that that assassination is what we're going to see more of now. Yeah.
Do you think such assassination then part of the reason why it just feels like no manifestos that are worth paying any attention to is because it's almost like the choice of target almost explains itself. So okay, Charlie Kirk is shot. Does it need explanation? It's like if someone even just hints that it is politically motivated, does it need a manifesto to say, well, what is this for? It's just kind of obvious given his media presence.
Yeah, no, I mean, I certainly agree that you don't necessarily need to have. It's like, oh well, I did it because blah blah, blah blah blah. No, it's like no, he's on the other team and I'm on this team, and and so he has to die, right? I took out a star player, right? Like that's you're not making a. I mean, the closest thing to Robinson's manifesto was written on the
memes on cartridges.
Yeah, and and I mean, like, while you did have "Hey Fascist Catch" and Bella Ciao, right? Which Bella Ciao, I don't know if we've talked about it on. I don't think we've talked about it on this show. Bella Ciao was a CIA op. Like the song,
was it?
The song being what it is, CIA op. Like it was in fact written on the rounds, but like turning into an anti-fascist song was a CIA op during the reconstruction of Italy after World War II. So
in a Gladio kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was supposed to be anti-communist because Bella Ciao is from a song that was previously explicitly communist and was later worked to be merely anti-fascist rather than pro-communist. But of course, the mimetics have kind of bled back in, and now you have the soft and hard communism, communists singing it. But despite those two rounds having stuff written on them, the one that is alleged to have killed Charlie Kirk is the one that said, "Notices bulge, ooh woo, what's this?"
Yeah.
So yeah. So we're also hitting brain rot territory.
Yeah, we are in the brain rot political assassination era.
Yeah. I want to point out that someone out there typed notices bulge, ooh, woo, what's this for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Someone out there did it. That person might still be alive, and they will know.
Yeah.
They will know that it was them who started it. They won't be able to prove it to anyone else, but they'll know, and they have to live with that.
It is. Yeah, well, I guess it's in the same way that the designers of Doom 2 have that link to Columbine. Similarly, the person who came up with Notice's bulge, ooh woo, they are the Duke Nukem 3D designers.
The Duke Nukem 3D designers, yeah. So what we need to blame. What we need to do is
ban Discord.
What we need to do is ban furry memes. Like we need to we need fursuit control. That's what we need. We need fursuit control.
That'll stop it. That'll stop the contagion.
That'll stop it. We need to delete DeviantArt.
Yep. And that's all that's stopping you from being able to go to political rallies without metal detectors again.
That's right. Banning DeviantArt will be free.
So do you have more to say on this? I mean, like the whole thing about the evolution over time of mass casualty events turning into now the sort of more targeted, less of an emphasis on mass in mass casualty events sort of thing now is interesting. I've never thoroughly researched these sort of things except for Columbine for this episode. So I don't have particularly thought out opinions on it.
I feel like we've covered the appropriate amount of ground.
Yeah.
For today.
Would you actually? This is an interesting topic to ask it about. Would you recommend people read the Columbine journals or have a look at the basement tapes or say? I think it was Klebold's the creative writing piece he did.
I actually
that got him pulled up of a guy in a trench coat shooting a bunch of jocks.
I didn't really. So you know what? I was actually pretty impressed by Klebold's writing piece about Charles Manson. Even though he misses the entire...
That was actually surprisingly coherent because
if
all my experience with Klebold up till then had been his diaries, and so I was shocked when something was actually coherently written.
Yeah, this was like a 5-page essay that he wrote for school about the Manson family. It was the methods and motives of Charles Manson.
Yeah.
And you know what? In terms of a broad overview of the Manson family, like timeline and stuff, and like a little bit of digging into like the psychology of these types of this type of mental control apparatuses, didn't do terrible. Obviously, he didn't have any of the information about MK Ultra in it, or any like sort of more deeply featured analysis of the induction of these kinds of dependency. But like for a high school student, it was really good, actually. And it sort of shows that like he really could have been successful had he had the motivation, opportunity, willpower, lack of homicidal drive. But there's also a little bit of a
there was some program for like particularly intelligent children that he was part of. I forget what it was called.
Chips. Yeah, it's like not the GATE program, which but the but also for people who believe that Harris was sort of the ideological driver of the NBK, the fact that Klebold was aware of these types of dependent relationships existing and had given them like an amount of thought that he was able to articulate in a fairly interesting way.
And was probably the more intelligent of the two.
It seems that way. Yeah. um, like it sort of means that he, you know, may have had the self-awareness, right, to have recognized that if it was the case. So, yeah, I think that like really, I think really like they fell down this. They fell down a memeplex that basically required it to be a duo carrying out a lot of murders.
Yeah, they found each other, and they probably wouldn't have done it without.
It required
Without the other. They egged each other on. They were the exact wrong people to have met each other and become friends.
Both were necessary. Both were necessary for it to have occurred. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Like, if someone's really into school shooters, you've probably already read this. It's like, it is distressing to read, knowing what they did, and it's distressing in the same way as reading My Twisted World is distressing. In that,
right,
you have very direct access to the thoughts of people who went on to murder their classmates. It's not a fun read in that respect. It's
also not a fun read because it's like broadly incoherent and
that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah,
it's made easier if you've got the nice, clean, typed out transcripts. If you're trying to read just raw dog the handwriting, it would be brutal.
It would be
even with
miserable.
Even with the assistance of being able to just clearly read the letters they wrote down, you still have to kind of like wrap your brain around the train of thought, the constant interjections and broken off thoughts and so on.
You're really like taking an oblique angle at trying to understand people, right? And
then you have to read Klebold's fucking poems, which are rough.
Yeah. I mean, in his own words, it's not. So I would say, I would say this is a skip unless you're really trying to.
The sort of people who would enjoy it have already read it.
I would also say that people who have subsequently carried out mass casualty events do kind of have a tendency to start as passively interested and then sort of become obsessed with these types of topics. And so they're actually like, there is a degree to which like, the demonological warnings apply to this type of material, where
it's a cognito has it in the same way that someone might not know they have a foot fetish until they stumble across it on x.com or some other sexual fetish that is
also not how I expect. Also, reading these journals, not how I expected to find out that Dylan Klebold had a foot fetish.
Dylan Klebold. That's what made me think of it. Yeah. But look, I just think there are actually certain things that are latent in people's psyches that can be activated, and like you said, something like this for a small minority of people just activates something in them that shouldn't be activated.
Yeah. And for the sake of mental hygiene, it's probably not a top tier. It's probably not the top of your TBR list.
Yeah, listening to us talk about it
is filth.
You have gotten more out of it than you would have gotten out of actually reading it.
That's right. So,
anyway, we'll see you next time for another Cognito Hazard. We're going to do the Chris Chan comics next time.
Are you going to put on the Sonichu medallion?
Should I make my own Sonichu medallion?
You should make your own. Yeah. That is the downfall. That is every time someone puts it on, they experience a tragic and like unforced downfall. Like
appearing on podcasts with you, the Cap curse is a known hazard. The Sonichu, do you think it's multiplicative or just additive? The percentage debuffs from all of these things.
You put on this.
Talking to Cap with a Sonichu medallion.
This is where you reveal that you've had the Sonichu medallion on under your shirt the entire time. Yeah, you remove it. This entire time you've been podcasting with a Sonichu medallion. You take it off and immediately explode to Rogan-esque levels of success. You were just like, I just needed.
That's all that's been holding me back.
I've only been using 5% of my power. That's right.
Yeah. I want to look at the comics analyze them as a standalone literary work, as aside from all the Chris Chan lore, because I do not have it in me to do a blow by blow of that poor guy's whole life. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other places people can go to if they want that sort of thing. I think it'd be worth to analyze the comics and see if they stand on their own merits.
We really need to, and you know what? Fortunately, I have not really kept up with the whole Chris Chan thing. I'm kind of less. I became more interested after the
Oedipal developments.
After the sexual assaults on his demented mother. Yet less demented than him. And but just because of the psychological manipulation of the woman who got him to do it, is interesting from that psychological perspective. But I had sort of like always written Chris Chan off as just like another person who should not really have access to the internet.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, really ruined his life. He could have had a very respectable kind of pastime if he had just really gotten into clockmaking or trains, but instead he had access to the internet. And so but I've of course I've never read the modern outsider art known as the Sonichu comics.
The Sonichu comics.
Yeah, it's what is the substantive difference between Chris Chan's I'm not going to get into this right now. You can tune in next time to find out the connections between Henry Darger and Chris Chan.
We'll have more informed opinions once we've gone through all of the Chris Chan comics. Are there a lot of them? How long is this going to take?
There's a lot of them. All
right. Good.
Yeah, good. You'll have some reading material.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.